Okay, thank you, Mariana. Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to see so many delighted persons that are interested in how Lithuania succeeded to deal with this COVID-19 situation. And definitely next coming decade, researchers will have a lot of questions to be answered and analyzed. And today we are going to share with you just the key elements, what Lithuania was doing in this situation, and how decisions were made, and what were the reasons for different decisions. And definitely this is a very interesting to learn from each other and to see how countries succeeded, because every country had at least a little bit different approach, but sometimes quite a similar results. And we still have many discussions inside the country after we are changing and releasing all the lockdown measures that the society is tired of all the regulations, and now everyone. Not everyone, but there are quite many persons that are telling that the quarantine was not so necessary, that probably we shouldn't use some measures. So it comes to a political discussion. So definitely this is a very, very interesting topic not just for the researchers, but also for the political analysts and for the international experts. And I would like to start from the slide that I will not go very deep into details, because my colleague Marius Čiurlionis will explain it in a more detailed way. But this COVID pandemic brought to the society and even to the political discussion some new terms. And one of the terms is to flatten the curve. So you definitely all were listening this in an international news that the heads of the countries were talking about this mystical curve that in some countries happened to be an exponential, and most of the countries or all of the countries that faced this pandemic were trying to flatten the curve in order to save our health system from overloading and overburning, and to be capable to help all the patients that are infected with COVID-19, to help them with the medical support. And Lithuania is a country that succeeded with this. And you see the curve at the beginning was increasing quite quickly, but for now we have this flattened curve going down. And actually, we hardly reached 10% of our system or equipment that was necessary to use for this for the most severe patients to be treated in hospitals. So we see this as a success. And one of the reasons why we think Lithuania succeeded with the COVID-19 pandemic control was a excessive testing strategy. And it started from just a very few people tested in only one lab. That was a national lab that started from like 6 or 16 or 19 cases tested, and this was expanding from time to time to a very proactive testing, starting from, of course, those with the symptoms, then with the asymptomatic testing, and finally we did a testing, so-called a kind of random or accidental testing for people that do not have symptoms but were coming after the easing the lockdown to shopping malls just for shopping and meeting each other. So even this strategy was performed in the country. Another reason why I think we we succeeded with the control was a very good response of the society. Because you will definitely agree with me that it's not enough to take the political decisions to set the rules if nobody is obeying the rules, if nobody is following the rules. And I don't have an explanation why society reacted in such a good way, because we all used to be a very protestic persons that we don't like when our freedom is somehow limited, and we don't like when the government says that you shouldn't do this or that. But this time it worked very, 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 very well, and people stayed at home. And what the Google data showed that Lithuanians were among those that were following the rules probably the most properly, and they were obeying rules very well, the quarantine rules, I mean. Another reason why probably society was reacting in this way was a very active media participation in informing the society. Now, of course, we have all those, strange theories coming from all over the world about the 5G, about the chips injected, about other mystery stories. Of course, they are appearing because we are not the closed country. People are looking to the YouTube. They are very active in the Facebook or Twitter. There are different groups of people that are sharing those crazy stories, but the media reacted in a very good way, and I'm very happy that most of the society. We had an analysis every morning, and we had reports coming from the military persons that were helping us at the ministry to deal with this crisis, and we had the reports where people were looking for the information, and the main source of the information was the main news portals in Lithuania and the governmental websites. That means that people were getting the right information at the right time. And of course, the voluntary initiatives came immediately after there was a need for personal protective equipment to be brought to the hospitals to help doctors, and many other good initiatives that came from the society. Of course, the collaboration between and cooperation between local governing bodies was very important, and a rapid decision-making process. I was a head of emergency operations, and I've signed hundreds of documents, and every day, on mostly every single situation, on every single area of the people's lives. It doesn't matter what we talk about. Would that be an education, hospitals, or cafes, or sports events? So that was a very rapidly changed. And now it's still changing from time to time with the release of this lockdown, but that was a very, very quick process, reacting immediately, day after day, observing what is happening. And of course, the adequate resourcing, because country accumulated the state reserve, and there were huge expenditures to personal protective equipment and all the necessary equipment country buying for the hospitals. And we still think that we have to be prepared for the possible next waves. And we also have plans to invest even in infrastructure of the hospitals to have well prepared infrastructure for the next coming possible waves of this infection or maybe other infections. And also the use of international best practices. The WHO and OECD and ECDC, they were very instrumental, sometimes a little bit too late with united response. But after the month, I can say that recommendations became very detailed and very, very instrumental for the countries, especially easing this lockdown measures. So I think that was a very good lesson for all of us, how to join the forces, how to be more proactive and help countries to be more united in the measures that are taken. So that's in short what I think were key elements in Lithuania dealing with this COVID infection. And thank you once again for your interest in how Lithuania was doing with this, and I hope you will have questions for us.